Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to light like one of the greats, Bradford Young. Now what's kind of cool about this video is this is not a trick that I picked up on a podcast or an interview or looking at behind the scenes. This is something that I got the pleasure of learning directly with Bradford Young when I worked with him a couple years ago. Now you'll notice this video so far is in black and white, and there's a reason for that, because when I break down the lighting setup here, we're actually going to use different color temperatures for all of the lights so you can kind of see what each of them are doing. But the end product is going to be in black and white, so we're going to leave it here for now. So first off, I'll address how I got this job. Basically, my friend called me and said, "Hey, do you cam op?" And I said, "Sure." This was a couple years ago during strikes and post-COVID, so things were still a little rough in the industry, which unfortunately hasn't changed that much. But as I've said in other videos, I always champion people to take a lot of different kinds of jobs. As long as you're capable of doing it, it never hurts to take jobs as a cam op or a grip or a gaffer. It's a great way to network and kind of hone your skills. So I said, "Sure, I'll cam op, what's the job?" My friend told me, "You'll be working with a DP named Brad Young." I thought, this must be a coincidence. So I asked, "Is it Bradford Young, the DP of Arrival and Ain't Them Bodies Saints," which I think is one of the best looking films of our generation? And she went, yeah, that's the guy." My jaw hit the floor. I said, "Where do you need me? When do you need me? How long do you need me? I'm there." So unfortunately, I can't talk about the project yet because it's still not out, but I got to work for 7 days in Northern California with one of my idols, Bradford Young. He was there for 4 of the 7 days, and then he DP'd and co-directed remotely for the remaining 3 days, which was kind of insane because on the 5th day, we had a new setup. So although I don't think I'm credited for this, I was kind of acting as a second unit DP that day for Bradford Young, which was just insane. Definitely one of the highlights of my career. And then we had some pickup days a couple months later where he co-directed and DP'd via Zoom. So for anyone that's curious, he is one of the nicest, most humble, incredible human beings. He's such a cool guy and he really champions his team. He was sent my reel and basically he said, "Hey, just do what you do." He barely gave me any direction. And thankfully he liked what I was doing and it was a great experience. So of course I was studying every single move that he made on set. How was he lighting? What kind of LUTs was he using? What was his workflow like? And I picked up a really cool trick that I'm going to talk about on this video for an interview setup. So we're going to go through how I set this interview setup in my apartment and also what we actually used on the day for the setup, because this environment is a little different. And last, I'm going to show you the awesome trick that I learned that actually has a lot of cool benefits. So let's turn all the lights off and get into it. Okay, now we're in color and you can see that all I have right now is just a very simple backlight. Now mine I turned to kind of a cyan blue so you can really see how it's just kind of kissing the top of my head, the back, and then the edge of my shoulders here. On the day, how he set his backlight up was actually 2 very large, I would say about 8 feet by 4 feet soft boxes, pretty far back from the talent. I would say about 10 feet back. And they lived on each side of the talent, so there was 2 to the sides coming towards the talent's back. I'm going with a much simpler and a slightly harsher backlight just to give me a little bit of edge. Now we're going to turn on the next light. So the second light we have, you can see, is just a very nice soft top light. I'm using my Amaran 200D with a 5-foot softbox and some grid on it just to kind of control the spill a little bit. I also have some negative fill camera left or my right just to give a little more shape on my face. Now for Brad's setup on the day, he actually had a very large overhead soft top light. I would say it was about 8 feet by 8 feet, and it was probably a little higher than mine is now, roughly about 4 to 5 feet above the subject. Now I have a video in my shorts on this that you can go watch, but the gist of it is I love soft top light. And I've actually heard a lot of DPs say this, that a great key to a cinematic image is starting with a nice soft top light, and then you kind of build around it. So you'll notice that's why I didn't actually strike my key light first. I'm getting the levels that I want of my backlight and my soft top light, and then we're gonna balance with the key after that. So now let's turn on our key light. And here's our key light, which is set to tungsten, so you can see the different color temperatures working here. Now in our final grade, we're gonna have a black and white film emulation, which is similar to something that Brad was using on set. Obviously his LUTs were much better and made by professional colorists. But we're gonna use the film emulation plugin Dehancer to get our final look. If I was shooting this in color, all of the lights would probably be balanced to the same temperature, or maybe slight variations, but definitely not 3 different colors. Now you might notice that the key light is maybe a little different than what you're used to. Let's get into why that is. It's because we're using skip bounce. Now skip bounce is nothing new, and it's basically bouncing the light into something and having it skip up. Normally we're used to putting our keys high or at kind of a 45-degree angle. But I saw that Brad actually just used an RE orbiter, I believe it was, but essentially a harsher LED light, and literally just bounced it into the ground with unbleached muzz. There was no special grip gear at play. It was literally unbleached muslin on the floor, just laid out, with an RE orbiter just punching into it and skipping back at our talent. That was it. Now what we're using here is a Source 4 light just bounced into literally a bunch of hoodies that I have laid on the ground. I don't have any unbleached muzz, but I do have some kind of off-white hoodies, so we're just using that for today. But the result is fairly similar. Now we'll save the best for last, but you can already see something cool that it's doing is kind of balancing the soft top light. When we bounce into the floor and the light is skipping up at our subject, we are kind of balancing and filling in some of those shadows that the top light is making. But here is the really fun part, and I didn't get a chance to ask Brad about this, but my guess is this is at least partially why he decided to use skip bounce. Our talent was wearing prescription sunglasses pretty much the whole shoot. Watch what happens when I put on some glasses. Nothing. There's no crazy glare going off. I can move my head back and forth, and I even have some wiggle room to move my head up and down, at least a little bit. Here you can start to see the reflection coming into the glasses. But for interviews, most people keep their head pretty straight and towards camera. They might look this way a little bit, but that's what the benefit of this is. You have wiggle room to move your head quite a decent amount, and you're not introducing some massive glare into the glasses. But the even cooler part is that if you zoom in and look at my eye, I still have a catch light in my eye. And I just thought this was brilliant. It is a way to still give your subject an eye light and creep kind of through the glasses, but not introduce massive glare onto glasses. You can see this in an even stronger way when I switch to sunglasses. Here's some very dark Ray-Bans that I have, and same thing. I can move my head and there's no crazy glares. I can even go up pretty far before it kind of introduces that top light. We have a lot of wiggle room. And then here, you can see where it introduces the skip bounce. But again, tons of wiggle room. Now let's look at the final result with a black and white film emulation using Dehancer. And there we have it. It's a really nice, moody interview look. I'm gonna take these off though. And when I take those off, you can see, albeit a little low, I still have a really nice catch light in my eyes. So that's one of many awesome things I learned working with one of my idols, Bradford Young. And the main takeaway I got is beauty in simplicity. I know there's definitely an art to lighting very technically, but I find more often than not, a lot of the great DPs have fairly simple lighting setups. Where they really shine is owning their exposure, the exposure of their lights and how they're rating their camera. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. If you want more stuff like that, please say so in the comments. I do have some really cool videos planned for you guys, but I also want to cater to my audience. So please let me know what you guys want to see, and I'd be happy to make videos surrounding whatever it is you want. See you next time.